how's everything going with you though, man? It's been a while, man.
Yeah, everything's good. We've been up here 4 years. We came up here because of Brianna, my wife. She's in a PhD program.
Yeah.
And then I just started I started school myself in fall, in the MSW program. Yeah. So.
No, first of all, congratulations to you and your family on that. I mean, that's pretty big from going to Cal and then moving over to the Michigan, right? I believe, right?
Yeah, Michigan, yeah.
Wow, no, that's huge,
yeah.
man. So she's in her PhD, and you're doing your PhD or master's, or?
I'm doing a master's.
Nice.
Yeah,
okay.
so I'm doing MSW.
Standing. I'm trying to remember what MSW stands for.
Social work.
Social. Okay. Oh, there we go. Wasn't your undergrad? Wasn't it like in business or something? Am I tripping?
Yeah.
Okay.
Undergrad was. But I want to probably open up my own business, and I think like just having that social work mind frame kind of makes you a better business person as well too, because business people have that type A personality, which can be harmful in some areas. No, just wanted to. I'm just trying to hone in all my skills, my empathy skills, and all that type of stuff. Plus, I enjoy the work too. So, and when we came up here, I was working out in Detroit, but I mean the hours was too long. Her program, not only was she in one PhD program, but she's in a joint program. So me being on the road all the time just wasn't good for the family. So kind of switched it up a little bit. Not sure what I'm gonna do with it, but just wanted to do something to kind of keep me busy as well and get a master's as well too.
No, I actually think that's what you said is useful in a way, because I mean, for you when you have business like you just said as well, you also want to sort of understand like sort of the psychology aspect, dealing with people,
right,
as well.
Right, exactly.
So, and I mean, you sort of your point as well. I know you didn't say this directly, but I think you're kind of hinting at it. Folks who have a good working relationship within the business, those businesses usually thrive. Workers work harder because you feel like, oh, this person actually understands where I'm coming from a human standpoint.
Exactly.
I'm not just a number.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. Well, I'm really proud of y'all just from what y'all did being Cal parents. I'm just like, I mean, your daughters have so much to look up to. I mean, I hope there's no pressure on them, but like, wow, like,
Yeah, it's a blessing because I totally grew up a lot different. Like I grew up in a great home, but I didn't have a black nuclear family, and I didn't have anyone that I could talk to about college or any teachers or anybody who was going to help me out with that. But for my kids to like see that, witness it, and they got to walk across the stage too as well. When I graduated from Berkeley, I had them walk with me across the stage, and for them to experience that, I think they have a good shot in life, and especially going off to college too once they get older.
Wow, no, that's huge. And I mean, and from what I understand, I can't remember how old your youngest daughter was when you graduated, but I know the first two, at least, they were old enough to at least understand what was going on, right? At least. Right.
Nice. Yeah. So Bianca was probably about 3.5.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, she was 3.5, 4, maybe.
How old were the first two at the time?
The first two at the time, I think Naomi was 6 and Raquel was 7.5.
Yeah, so yeah, they understood. Okay, Daddy's walking to the stage, and that's cool. No, that's wow.
Yeah, they're all stair steppers, man. We had 2 in diapers at the same time. Those are rough times right there, man. Diapers are expensive, so yeah, they're older now. So Raquel is 11 and she's about 5'4". She's hella tall. Wow. Naomi is 9.5.
Wait, back up. Did you say she's 5'4" and she's 11?
She's 5'4" and she's 11, man. She's
all that age. Wow. Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah, she's a beast. She's gonna be taller than me. And then Bianca, I think she's gonna be taller than everybody. Like you see the little kids who she's in school with. She's like 2 of them. She just towers over them, man. It's crazy. Cool. It's crazy. Wow. Yeah.
Well,
we have all
I know
those.
You're a fair height, and then I can't remember if Brianna, if your wife is around the same height, or is she taller than you? If I may ask.
She's taller than me. Yeah.
Because typically the reason why I ask is typically with kids they're never shorter than the shortest parents, and then girls are interesting. Right. Sometimes girls would be either taller or just below their showed his parents how in a way. So
Right. Yeah. They're gonna be pretty tall, and they're active. Raquel plays travel volleyball, although we're not doing too much traveling right now with what's going on. But we keep them in sports. I had the honor to coach my middle child's basketball team this year. It was my first time coaching. It was awesome. They did a great job, and definitely something I want to look forward to as well. I did a good job, because I think like coaches, like especially the early age, you can impact a child's life with sports, and it can be really harmful with the screaming and just not that positive, giving them positive vibes and encouragement and just having fun. Without that, then you start to see now. I was reading a couple of articles that toxic coaches could be really harmful. They're starting to see less and less students or kids participate in extracurricular activities going into like middle school. Not only because of the coaches, but also because of the parents as well too. So you got the coaches coaching on the sideline, and then you got the parents coaching in the stands. It's like, who do you listen to? You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah.
So your coach is like, so you're not a screamer, I'm guessing from what you're saying on your part.
No, I'm not. Nah, even when I talk to the kids, I get down on one knee, I look at them, just how I talk, when my kids do something wrong, or if I just need to get a point across to them, I get down to their level, because I don't want them to feel threatened or intimidated, for one, because they're not my kids. And two, I want them to, really understand what I'm saying, and that I'm passionate about it, without putting fear or, without them thinking that I'm upset with them.
So you would say would you say your coaching style mirrors your parenting style, or is it sort of a deviation, or like?
Say it again. I'm sorry.
No, I was trying to say, I guess, would you say your coaching style mirrors your parenting style, in a way?
I would say so. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And don't get me wrong, I was raised in the South to a single mom. She really had a Southern twist.
Yeah.
She had to, because it was 4 boys, 1 girl. But a lot of yelling. I mean, it wasn't bad. I mean, she didn't beat us or nothing, but she got her point across. But I don't want to do that. With the yelling and all that stuff. So yes, it does mimic my parenting style.
Interesting. No, that's such an interesting take, because I guess so many ways I'm trying to see how I can go with this. So I guess that one thing I'm interested in that aspect, was that sort of a conscious decision you made, or was that, because I know you're also trying to go into the social warfare aspect, is that something you learned through, I guess, reading up on different, I guess, articles and parenting styles, or is it something like when you've had your first child, you and Brianna were like, this is how we're going to parent our children, this is how we're going to talk to them, I don't want to be talked to in that way, or man, even though I'm okay, but I don't want to pass on the same thing. Is that a conscious decision, or is it something you just kind of went into?
It was a conscious decision, and plus, I don't think it would even made a difference if I don't know, people raise boys different than girls, but I think because I have girls, like I really took that, like I don't want them to be scared of men or anything. Like I don't even whoop my kids. You know what I mean? Like they don't get spankings or nothing, because I don't want them to think that it's okay for a man to yell at them or to whoop them.
I think you're saying.
Okay. You know what I mean?
That's
me being their father. So, but also looking back at a lot of the research, like the post-traumatic slave disorder, which is, a technique that slaves used to survive during slavery, putting down their kids in front of the white man and stuff like that. And then also just how generational trauma alters the DNA. This is all new stuff, but there's a lot of great articles out there, and I think like I take that into consideration as well too. Like I want to break the cycle. I don't want to be part of the problem. So
no, I mean that's so interesting. I mean, I guess for me the interesting aspect about it is that, because like I said, I'm not a parent yet, right? So I always sort of look to folks like yourself for guidance on that, or just trying to listen in and actually absorb what you're saying. But I guess sometimes another part of me is kind of also looking at it from the aspect of, I think there's some kids, I think you're kind of lucky depending on the kids you get, right? Like there's some kids who are being there good. There's some kids you need to, I don't want to use the word yell at them, because maybe obviously, but you need to be very strict with them, because that's just the way they are. Like they're not a bad kid, it's just, they're just naturally stubborn. So you have to deal with them in a certain kind of way, whereas other kids, you can kind of talk to them a certain way and they would kind of get it in a way. I guess, I mean, so for you, and I asked it, would you say, I guess you're kind of lucky to have the kids that you have, I don't know if they were maybe more stubborn when they were younger, you kind of got them out of that, or was it just from the jump? It was just yeah.
Oh, they still stubborn. They're very stubborn. They can be very sweet, you know, to people and everybody. But I mean, you know, they do things that they, you know, maybe if they don't get enough sleep, they could be really cranky that day. They still do that. Like if they stay up too late, the next day I know they're going to be cranky, especially my middle child. But I think also me just practicing patience as well too.
Well, I guess to your point, I guess there's a difference between, I guess, being stubborn and being bad, right? Because every kid is stubborn. I mean, adults are stubborn,
right?
You know,
right.
there's a difference between being stubborn and just like, man, this person just, they're not listening, they're just bad.
But even just to add, I think even if I just had a problematic kid too, I would want them to know that I'm in your corner, right? So I'm not going to put you down. I'm not going to make you feel worse than what you already feel, because I know you feel bad because you're getting in trouble and stuff. I'm still going to, again, it's me just practicing my patience with that particular kid. You know what I mean? Because that's another thing too. You know, you think about these kids who get in trouble and stuff, right? So not only do you have the school and the teachers and the counselors, you know, telling them that they're a bad kid, and then parents and everybody else at the school, but then you come home as well to your mom or your dad who's either beating you across your head because you keep messing up and reminding you how bad of a person is. But it's like somewhere, you know, you have to come in and be patient with that kid and let them know, you know, being gentle with them, letting them know like, hey, it's going to be okay, but you can't do A, B, or C, taking things away and stuff like that. Well, so I think even if I had a problematic kid, I would do the same thing. In my middle child, you know, when we first moved, she had a hard time just acclimating to the school, and it was because, you know, she's a people pleaser. You know, she could be easily led by other kids, and this is where we see, you know, just racism, right? You know, like the white students, you know, blaming everything on the black students, or just the black student being punished a little bit harsher than the white counterpart. And it's just me also just taking that, and we had these issues, but I did get frustrated, you know, because it's like, damn, you keep doing the same thing, but, you know, just constantly getting on them, and I had to check myself because constantly, you know, they're getting in trouble in school, you know, they're coming home getting in trouble. Like, that doesn't help the kid at all. You know, I noticed once we kind of sit back and we set boundaries, and it's like, you know what, we're just going to put you in a different class. We're just removing you from the whole situation. Now you don't have no excuse to get in trouble, right?
Yeah.
You know, this is all on you. This is a new classroom. You got to make better choices. So I apologize if I keep cutting you off too, man.
No. Don't worry about me. I'm trying to get out of your way. So I haven't because I get excited and, you know, I talk fast and I'm like, no, I'm just so I'm trying to absorb what you're saying. So it's really about me hearing what you're saying. I just cut in when I want to, you know. Right. So don't worry about that at all. I want to hear your thoughts. People are tired of hearing me speak. But no, I mean, one thing you just said to me, I guess, so many things I wanted to ask for that. So one aspect I guess I wanted to back up on was, so for you in particular, and you can get into, because I know a little bit, I don't know the whole thing, right, stuff like that. But for you, I guess, do you have that mindset because when you were a kid, you felt that if you had, I guess, the mindset you're coming with your daughter, things may have turned out for you differently earlier. At least, obviously, you're a success now, but I guess earlier maybe things may have gone differently in a way.
I think yes. I think so. And don't get me wrong. I you know, my mom, she was a single mom, and she was an amazing mom. She really was.
Yeah.
But her situation was a lot different. She was a single mom raising 5 black kids, you know. So yes, definitely. I definitely wanted to switch that up. You know, like I didn't want to live with that type of stress and then throw that on to my kids as well, right? So. Did that answer your question? I kind of
that answers the question. And the other question I was going to ask, sort of veering off away from that, but also on the same topic, because you had kind of mentioned as well. I think there have been many studies to kind of correlate that, where the stress and trauma that you go through in this generation kind of also impacts one's DNA in a way. But I guess also tying that back into how you were talking about, you making that conscious decision to be, patient with your children, you and Brianna. I guess for me, I'm also looking at it from a sort of generational wealth standpoint, right? Like we always talk, I guess, about white privilege or even generational wealth and how, the things that you do in this generation, from a wealth standpoint, you buy a house and that means your children have that house and they're able to stack upon that. But I guess in the same sort of analogy in a way, you being able to, I guess, turn that corner from a mindset in terms of how you're raising your children, that's also sort of like generational knowledge, right? Like they're going to say, oh, my dad raised me this way, therefore I'm going to raise my kids this way, and that kind of goes on. I don't know if you're getting me, but yeah, I guess that.
Yeah, no, I got you. Yeah, no, exactly. Like you don't have to, for one, you don't have to put your hands on anybody to get them to understand like this and this is a problem. You don't have to do that, and especially a kid. I grew up getting whoopings, and if I got in trouble, my mom would whoop me, and then 2 weeks later, when I saw my uncle for something that I did a month ago, that's another butt whooping I'm finna get. They believed in whoopings. We don't do that with our babies. We don't have to, and I'm thankful for that. I try not to even yell. All over my house I have Alexas, just so I could drop in, like, hey, drop in on the little's room. Hey, come down for dinner, or hey, stop that. I can hear y'all from up here. Just because. So I don't have to raise my voice at them. You know what I mean?
That's pretty cool. No.
Yeah.
I'm learning myself.
So I keep Alexas all over the house. I try not to really, we try to keep the peace. And especially, now we're in the pandemic, it's like all about keeping the peace. I'm used to this. I'm used to being, I was in prison for 5.5 years before I met my wife. And 3 of those years I spent in solitary confinement. So like I'm comfortable right here. I'm with my family and it's just us. And I don't want to say that I'm happy about it, but I'm comfortable with it. Like,
go ahead.
I wish we could do a lot more things, but I'm not stressing about that. I'm also thinking about it from a standpoint too that, me and Brianna, we're very, very busy. So a lot of the times when we get out of school or work, we got to take the kids to their different practices, whether that's volleyball, basketball, dance class. Sometimes every night we're doing something, and you don't really get to spend that quality time together. Pretty much it's like feeding the kids and putting them to bed, right? To get up and do it all over again. It's like here we get to wake up, at a reasonable time, and we spend time together. You're not going to play with anybody else. You're going to play with mom and dad, or you're going to play with your sisters. We do walks and stuff like that. So I'm really comfortable with the current situation.
One of my biggest things about prison, I already feel like, the way prison goes, the prison system is too harsh. But I think sometimes people are insensitive, when I tell people, I think even 1 day or 2 weeks in prison is a lot. But I mean, even looking at it from a solitary confinement aspect, I guess, how are you able to shift from that mindset? Because, assimilating back into society when you've gone through that for such a long time and then coming back into society and trying to, how are you able to have that mindset to shift back and I guess, and also for you, when did you feel like you were able to just function normally, I guess, if you even still can?
I don't. I still don't function normally. I have difficulty sleeping at night. Or staying asleep. I still do some things like just real cautious. My head's always on the swivel. I hate it just because I always have that gut feeling like something bad is going to happen type of thing. I'm working on it. I'm seeing a therapist. But for over 10 years, I've just been kind of, I guess, treating myself, I guess, whatever that was, but no, I still have issues from being locked up. It's a lot better than, some of the cases that we hear about, right?
Yeah,
many of them. I was 17 when I got locked up, and I was locked up with grown men. I didn't get out of prison until I was 23, So coming out, a lot changed from 17 to 23, even technology-wise. But, it's, in prison, you stay up late and you sleep all day and you get up towards the evening and you stay up all night, so doing that for 5 years or whatnot, that really messes with your sleep, and I still have difficulties with that. Also, my head is just always on a swivel. I'm real cautious about people. I'm real cautious around people around my kids. So those are some
I
of the
think
issues.
some people are on that aspect. I will hope you are on that part, but yeah, and I'll feel you keep saying. Go ahead.
Right. And another thing too is like I don't deal with I don't want to say bullshit, but I just don't put myself into situations. You know what I mean? Like I'm a family man. I go to work, go to school, come home. I get out every now and then, but it's real hard for me to really hang with somebody and put my trust into them to where we gonna go out and just hang out like that. It's like because you don't know people's you don't know what their lifestyle is. Like maybe they like doing certain stuff that I don't want to jeopardize myself, so I kind of pretty much keep to myself. Believe it or not, I am a social person. I enjoy talking to people.
I've met you. Something like I wouldn't know until anybody says so. For me, I've met you. So of course I get that.
Right.
Yeah, no.
Right.
Most definitely.
But outside of that, it's like, I really don't do too much. Now I do stay active. I run. I play a lot of basketball. I can actually hoop, believe it or not. And I stay active, but as far as like nightlife or just going out, I really don't do that too much just because I'm so nervous. We know how these police are, these cops, and just my personal firsthand experience with the police and the school to prison pipeline and all that. It's like, I want no part in that. I don't want any confusion. So I come home and chill. Like, this is my palace right here. I'm comfortable here. If I want to drink, smoke, whatever.
I don't blame you for that because I have
right.
Who've had situations, just like I said, just being in the club or being in the bar, and it's like to your point, when you have a family, you don't want to jeopardize that because obviously, Brianna's a strong lady, she can handle things, but without you there, it would be difficult to just raise those 3 young ladies and just because you wanted to go have a drink somewhere and then not right. No, that's not. I can understand that most definitely.
So I'm extremely cautious, but I will say like the good thing about Berkeley and just like the village where we live, like it was really a village. Like we knew everybody. Everybody hung out. It's like everybody hung at the park, and you could drink a beer, you could barbecue. That was the club, like within a home setting. You know what I mean? So it was, you was able to loosen up there. But coming to Michigan, it's a complete beast of its own. I mean, one, I think the people here are a little bit different. In addition to, it's the weather, man. It's not no sunshine. It's not no California. It's like 6 months out of the year. It's snowing and it's cold and it's, you're coming home and it's dark at 5 o'clock. It's pitch dark outside.
Oh my gosh.
You know what I mean? And it's like 6 months of that really takes a toll on a person's mental health. I mean, our first year,
I think.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say that can be depressing. I think I've heard in Alaska where it's 6 months out of the year is dark, they actually have higher rates of suicides and depression and stuff like that.
Yeah, that is all facts, man, and I can see it. Like our first year, we came, and I don't really think it was the first year like we didn't really notice it because of the snow, and it was new to us. Like we never lived in the snow, and it's just happy, like, wow, this is something out of a movie, like waking up Christmas Day and it's snow outside. But second year, I remember just kind of moping around and just sad and, went to the doctor and sure enough it was seasonal depression and, lack of sunlight. So, now we take like vitamin D medication and even the kids take vitamin D medication. It's funny because wintertime, they look so pale and frail and sickly looking because of no sunshine.
That reminds me. I got to take my vitamin D right now. You reminded me. Go ahead. That's what reminds me.
But I mean, no, it's been a lot better. We know we're only here for a limited time. And Auburn's a great place. I mean, the kids go to a great school. We just have to stay on top of the teachers because a lot of the times they're the only black kids at the school. There may be a few others, but just really stand on them. Like, we make sure to go to all their events because, we black people have that stigma where the parents don't participate in any of the kids' extracurricular activities or school events, which is false. Really is false. There's a lot of black parents out here,
but this is my thing about that, because for me, whether it's false or true, I do think the unfair part for me is that, because I was talking to my friend about this before, because he was talking, because he's a teacher, he was talking about how black parents, he feels, aren't always as involved in their children's education. And I said, I understand where he's coming from, but also to the issues that a lot of these black parents come from different socioeconomic statuses, so they're probably working multiple jobs, maybe 50 hours a week. They're like single mom, single dad. You don't even have time to go to your kids' after-school activities. Whereas if you come from a more affluent background, you might be able to have that time to do so here and there because you're not worried about finances in particular. But go ahead.
You hit the nail on the head. No, you hit the nail on the head. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
That's exactly and we're seeing that now. Like, even just to think of it from the pandemic standpoint, who are the essential workers? It's the poor people. The people barely making a living. So all these things are coming to a head right now, and exactly what you said, just the whole socioeconomic status, man, the whole background of it. Who could do this and who could do that. Those types of people got those jobs where they could just get up and walk out their office and run over to their kid's school or take an hour lunch or stuff like that. Go to the doctor, even going to the doctor. Just having the luxury of doing that, like they don't have the luxury of doing that. And I really hope, like, after all this is said and done, I really hope the government or whoever, which they're not, really take a look at everything and think about, the people who stood up with those nurses and made sure everybody was eating, make sure shit was being stopped. Like, don't forget that. And that also leads to, like, I know Bernie Sanders is behind the numbers right now, but he's really front and center right now. You know what I mean? Like, all the things that Bernie's been talking about is exactly what we're seeing take place now in front of us. And, where the hell is Joe Biden at? Nowhere to be seen. Head in the dirt.
But to your point, I think people have been talking about the fact that, like Bernie, Yang, all these other folks, the economy, or just the fact that normal workers were already on, like, living paycheck to paycheck. So when something like this happens, it just becomes more escalated.
Exactly.
And one of the examples I kind of remember is kind of like, I think you remember when they had the little government shutdown, stuff like that. Yep. So they had federal employees, getting laid off. And one of the things that kind of stood out to me is that technically a federal job is supposed to be a good middle class paying job, relatively so. And for folks to say, hey, if I don't work this month, I can't pay my bills, already tells me, hey, that's supposed to be a middle class or at least decently paying job and they can't pay their bills. What do you think are the rest of America? What do you think about folks who are in a lower economic status than that? Of course, they're also in the same position in a way.
That's a great point. Great point, exactly, because, when you think about those federal government jobs, you're thinking they making a decent living, definitely. I definitely remember that.
Yeah, so for me, I'm looking at it now, and then, and even now, I think we're exactly on the same page at that time. We'll see with the whole Biden situation. Unfortunately, it looks like he's going to get the nomination. And then I think Trump's going to end up winning again. People don't want to hear it. I'm like, it's going to be what it is again, because folks aren't going to be excited to come out for Biden, especially, I started following a lot of some of the things he was doing. He's forgetting speeches and forgetting some of his ideas, mid-sentences, and I'm like, look, y'all, like, this is before the election. What's going to happen when he's actually in office, when he has to remember a whole host of things, But go ahead. Yeah.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. Yeah, and I was gonna say, I guess even putting that aside, I guess the interesting part for me is just I want to really know, hopefully, after all of this is said and done, are we going to just go back to status quo, which I think is going to be the case, or are we going to actually say, hey, there are a number of things that need to be solved, but, we'll see.
They need to do something, dude. Like, it's just like, people come here for an American dream, and it's not even all that. It's not that. It's falsified. It's falsified, really. It really boils down to money. That's what it boils down to. Trump didn't shut down the government. He didn't shut down borders until it was affecting people's money. You know what I mean? And thinking about that, like, who's living comfortable right now, right? People who could work from home, who have the opportunity to work from home, and then even thinking of it from a spatial thing. You're thinking about some of these people who live in, sharing a 1-bedroom room with 6-7 people in East LA somewhere, right? Compared to somebody else with a bunch of money living in a 3,000 square foot home, right? And just comfortable as hell. No worries at all. Their refrigerator's full. They could work from home, just have no issues at all. And I'm not saying everything is perfect, but just even from a spatial point, thinking about the comfort of comparing the comfort that some people are living in and compared to others who don't have that.
That's a great point. So I was going to say, no, that's a great point. Like, if you live in a larger home, that's easy. But if you're in a 1-bedroom house and it's just 6-7 y'all in each other's face all the time, like, that's kind of difficult.
Right. It becomes small real quick. It really does. And I'm in a 3-bedroom townhome on campus in Michigan. And again, I mean, I love my kids, but it's really hard, when all of us are trying to do our school, right? The place to come really small real quick. But I mean, we make it work with the space that we do. We do have like a very large basement. We have workout equipment in there, and just try to keep the stress down. Right?
Yeah,
like right now, during this time, during this time, it's the wrong time to have a mental breakdown. From my perspective.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Because for one, it's just, I mean, are you going to get the help that you need? It's like everybody's focusing on the pandemic right now. You're not going to get the help that you need. So I make sure I work out. Not to say that I've had any of those issues. I haven't. But I make sure I work out. I make sure I get outside and get some fresh air. And plus, my kids are funny as hell too. So they definitely keep me rolling.
They get that from you, or they get that from Bree?
I think they get that from me, but Bree is funny though too. She's really funny. But it's like just even seeing them do like their TikTok videos, like they're big on TikTok, and seeing them dance and just black people roasting each other and stuff. Just how they even pick that up, you know what I mean? So that definitely keeps everybody in an uplift spirit, especially when you can roast somebody. So.
Yeah, I guess I was going to ask, how are they sort of absorbing their, like, do they understand what's going on? How do they view everything? Do you see them getting kind of like antsy? Like, I mean, how are they absorbing everything?
They're taking it good. We tell them everything. We told them, that this is what's taking place right now is something that we haven't seen in over 100 years, right? And then also reminding them that this is a new experience, but also, this is the time for you to really spend with your family, and make memories. Like, we take quarantine pictures, every morning, every day. Bree takes a bunch of pictures, and we go on crazy long walks, and we just get to talk about a lot of things and put our feelings out there. So, no, we tell them everything about, what's taking place, what to expect, and and then also I remind them too, like, you need to be mindful about the things that you want to do in the house. For instance, they love to play on the stairs. Please don't play on the stairs, because if you fall, Daddy not taking you to the hospital. I'm gonna doctor you up here at the house, because we're not going to the hospital to get sick. You're gonna have a limp for the rest of your life. So, just reminding them, no, they're completely aware of everything. They're in good spirits.
I mean, and I think you sort of already touched on this already, so I won't harbor it too much. But I guess what the interesting part for me is that I think, because for me, I see this kind of like as a reset button for everyone. Whatever you are working, whatever you're doing, you have to sit at home and just really evaluate everything. But the good side, I mean, there's it's kind of like a double-edged sword. The good side is that people are able to stay home with their family, like you said, because most time you're just working, going to school, probably have to drop the kids, come back home, you eat, you sleep, and that's just, what the life is. But at least now you get to have that time. And the irony in the situation that you may never, unfortunately, have this, like, this is probably not going to happen, who knows, knock on wood, for a long time, where people are just at home and get to spend as much time with their family and their kids and their wife, like, and evaluate everything. I guess to your point, that's valuable to do that, you know.
It is. And you know what? I'm lucky to be able to do this, right? Because I could be one of those essential workers out there, putting my life on the line to stock shelves or whatever work, but I'm a student. So I'm able to, I mean, not to say, you know, I'm not rich or nothing, but
no, you're privileged.
We're good.
You're
you know, I am privileged.
Yeah.
Even from the background that I come from, I have to also acknowledge my privilege as well, because other people are out here, you know, 10 toes down on the ground, and they have to make it happen, period. And that's sad, because people are out here dying. You know, hospitals are already figuring, you know, they're picking to get, you know, to see who lives and dies because of the lack of ventilators. Yeah. Also, you know, it's like, I'm a black man in a white community. Who do you think they're going to pick to survive? You know what I mean? I'm scared as hell if I get sick. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I guess I was gonna one last thing I was gonna ask before we switch kind of like into the sports realm, I guess. So for you, in a way, two things, I guess, because I want to get your perspective on this before I forget as well. First, I was gonna ask you, what do you hope people get out of this whole situation? Like, what do you hope happens? And secondly, as well, do you hope people are able to sort of see? And I know this is not the same, right? Do you hope people are at least able to have some type of sympathy for people who are in prison or are in some type of confinement, just being in this? Because I mean, this is basically a baby version of house arrest, right? But it's not even, because you get to go out. So I guess those two questions. I guess number one, what do you hope we get out of this? And then secondly, do you hope people are able to get some type of sympathy or for folks who are in confinement due to how this situation is going on?
I mean, to answer both of those questions, I mean, on sympathy, I mean, they really need to look at, you know, take a step back, get off their high horse, and step back to look at everybody and, you know, pay those people a living wage. Like, nobody should have to be stressed out about losing their job or about making a living wage, period, pandemic or no pandemic. Like, this is an issue, and the pandemic really highlighted that. Like, you shouldn't be, you know, forced, because they are forced, because if you're not working and you're not going to make no money, right, to go to work making $10 an hour, stocking shelves and dealing with customers who don't understand what social distancing is. Like, that is hazardous, right? So, for one, you need to do hazard pay. You need to pay people a living wage, period. Every human being deserves that, should be able to live life comfortable. And this is the United States. Come on, man. Two, they need to relook at the whole prison system again. They should have been to do that, pandemic or no pandemic. Because, I mean, it's not right to lock somebody up in a box and just kind of just leave them there, right? You're not getting any health care that you need. I know I didn't. You're not getting any mental health treatment, and just some of the issues, the other issues that they have, you know, the violence and stuff like that. They just need to take a look at it as a whole, like all of it, and put that into perspective. Like, so
let's say if you were in a position of some type of power where you could change on the prison aspect, what's the biggest things? What are sort of the improvements you would make? Or I guess, how would you change? So if you're in some type of position, I don't know, I'm trying to think, like an advisor to the president, something like that. Maybe not the president or whoever, right? And they said, like, we're going to try to create some type of new prison policy or some type of policy around prison rehabilitation, et cetera. What are the changes, I guess, you would make?
Rehabilitation. You know, that's in the title, but that's not what they're doing. They're locking people up and throwing them away. You know what I mean? They need to rehabilitate people. You know, like, for instance, you know, people are going to jail for being an addict. Like, you shouldn't be in prison for 30 years because you're an addict.
Talking my language. Go ahead. You talking my language. Go ahead.
Yeah. You shouldn't be punished with something that you suffer from. You know, they're not having a good time. I mean, it may be a good time, you know, for a little bit, but after a while, for instance, like a heroin addict. Yeah, it's fun for a little bit, but after a while, if you don't have that hit or that drug in your system, you get really freaking sick.
Yeah.
Nasty sick, like flu sick, you know, bad. I don't think they're having fun. I don't think that a human should be punished because they have a chemical imbalance or they're addicted to something. You know what I mean? You shouldn't punish somebody for that. You should help them out, and that's where empathy comes in. Learn empathy. I think, like, these prison systems should have social workers in the, you know, they should have social workers. They should have everybody in the prison rehabilitating people, giving people the opportunities to go to school, giving people the opportunity to get a good job once they come out, giving people, the right to vote. Like, you lose so much stuff once you go to prison, right? And then when you get out of prison, you're not able to get a job, you can't vote, you can't get on food stamps, you can't find anywhere to live. So what do they end up doing? They end up going back to prison and have that type of penitentiary mind frame. You know what I mean? And that's what we don't want. We're supposed to be rehabilitating people.
No,
and I'm not to say that some people don't deserve to be locked up. I'm not saying that at all. I mean, you have your criminals out there. Like, if you commit murder, or I don't even want to get into that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I know you're going. I know you're going. Go ahead. Yeah, I got you.
Some people just don't deserve it. Some people shouldn't receive some of the sentences that they receive, like doing 30 years because they're a drug addict. So, yeah, I mean, if you say you're going to rehabilitate somebody, actually do the work and rehabilitate somebody. Don't just lock them up and then create more problems. They come out and now they have mental illness problems, or having a mental illness problem just coming out of the penitentiary. It's supposed to be a correctional facility. So, yeah, I would definitely change up. I would do something kind of like Sweden or something like that. And whatever they're doing over there, they don't have. They don't run. I think we're the only country who runs our prison system the way that we do. And another sad part is, too, I kind of went on a tangent. I apologize. We have more people, black and brown people, locked up now than people were in slavery during the Civil War.
Wow.
That's sad. That's very sad.
Wow.
And I'm scared for my kids, when they growing up, to think if this is something else that they're still going to have to worry about growing up with their kids. These systems, these prisons are being built up, and even before they already know who they're going to put in them, and they're making money off of it, off of babies, and that's another sad thing as well too.
You represent a school to prison pipeline, stuff like that. Yeah.
School to prison pipeline. Yep. Teachers working with resource officers, and everybody's in on it. And who's getting the short end of the stick is black and brown people. They just want to lock up black and brown bodies and then write books about how black men and brown men are not involved in their kids' lives. Well, you locked up everybody,
No, you make a lot of interesting points. Even going back to what you're saying right now as well, with black men and people going to prison, when I'm looking at the whole aspect, I'm trying to say, okay, so you're putting people in prison, taking them out of their family structure and then limiting on them. But not only that, my biggest issue is that, like, even when you look at the stock market, like, they're making money. Like, you have private prisons who actually have their companies on the stock market, and they're making money off of prisoners, in a way. Like, it becomes sort of a money. It's like it's a modern day form of slavery, right, in a way. But even outside of that, jumping back to what you were talking about before about the addiction aspect, when I'm looking at that, like, the analogy I always give to people is like, if somebody has a knife and they're trying to stab themselves, I'm not going to arrest them and say, hey, you're trying to stab yourself. I'm going to try to get them some help. Why are you trying to stab yourself? How do I get you some help? It's the same thing, same thing with drugs, right? People have certain issues or whatever things are going on. I don't lock them up for that issue. That's not going to solve the issue. All I'm doing is just perpetuating the problem. I mean, even my whole thing is that I'm still, I still think, and this might be a radical point of view, I still think they need to just legalize all the, like, at least decriminalize them in a sense. Because I just don't think our drug policies are working. Because for me, anytime you make something illegal, you automatically create a black market. So if you make drugs illegal, people are still going to sell them. They're just going to sell them through underhanded points of view. And then what happens is that in order to protect their product, since they know if somebody, like, if I'm selling weed and the police and somebody steals my weed bag, I can't go to the police for that because it's illegal. So now I'm going to try to use other underhand methods, getting my own gun, get my own protection, and then that creates more violence. I mean, there's a reason why we saw a sort of decrease in violence when prohibition was over. Same thing now. So with drugs, I think, cause for me, like, even with the police officers, they're always so focused on drugs rather than trying to find murderers, rapists, criminals, things like that, because of those aspects. So, but no, I definitely feel you on the whole, on a lot of those things. Definitely feel your sentiments on that. So,
and they're making money off of it. These, like you said, these celebrities. You remember Bob Barker from The Price is Right?
Yes.
Yeah. So he had a line of shoes in the prison. So when you went to prison, you got the Bob Barkers. So I had some Bob Barkers. I had
Interesting.
Bob Barkers.
Oh.
And I would give them over to my homeboys, and they would draw on them and make them look real nice. Put some Nike checks on them or whatever. They would put their art on them, and they'll be badass, some badass shoes. And people would pay for them to have them designed. To have them, people ink them up and do all sorts of stuff to them. And, I had me a couple of fresh Bob Barkers, man. And, when I step in, I'd be like, shit, I got them new, how they say, oh, I got the new J's? I'd be like, I got them new Bob Barkers. I had a couple of pairs of them as well. But, yeah, I mean, he's one of them. He made a ton of money off of the prison industrial complex.
Interesting. I would never have known that. Wow. Wow. That's hard for me to fathom. Like, there's a line of shoes that are particularly only sold in prisons, and they allow them to sell these in prison. And wow, okay, interesting.
I mean, you got people in there who's like, they'll tighten up like your prison, your jumpsuit. Like I had when I was able to get visits. I didn't get too many visits because I was locked up in Mississippi in a federal prison. Although I was from Texas, right? So I get caught or whatever, arrested in Texas, and they ship people off out of state. So now you're a young black man, you have no family around, and you're shipped all the way across the country. So my mom couldn't come see me. She didn't own a car, right? So I didn't get no visits. It was hard to get a visit. Nobody's going to come all the way to Mississippi to see you. Not that they wouldn't come, but it's hard to come.
Yeah, difficult, yeah.
So even just thinking about that, like they did that during slavery, man. Like took them babies away from their families and shipped them and separated them and split them up. That's the same thing with prisons, especially federal prison or just prison in general. Federal prison, you're going to go out of state for the most part. But yeah. Sorry, I got on a tangent again, man. Sorry.
You good? No. I wanted to get your thoughts on a lot of things, and thank you for that. I guess we can kind of switch into sports that way in a way. Yeah, man, tell me what's good with your Cowboys, man.
Man, what you talking about? You see it? Hey, you see it? They got Dez Bryant working out, man. I'm excited. I think they should pick up Dez Bryant. I'm a diehard Dallas Cowboys fan, man.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say it again. Cowboys going to the Super Bowl this year. This is the year. If you have me on record, right? You have me on record. Cowboys going to the Super Bowl this year.
Oh my God!
I really hope, I pray that they give Dez Bryant a second chance. I think he would make a great number 2 receiver, maybe even number 1, because I'm not so sure about Amari Cooper. I like Amari Cooper, but I think he's kind of soft. He's a little bit soft.
It's interesting. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
I think Dez Bryant gonna toughen him up, and especially the mentality and the humbleness that we're gonna get from Dez Bryant, because if he's not humble now, after this, and there's still negativity, you don't deserve to play football for anybody. So I really hope that he comes back with that leadership mentality and really step up to the plate. So I'm not sure if he's gonna be. I'm gonna say Dez Bryant's gonna be the number 2 receiver right now.
I think,
but
somebody was saying, because I think he will probably be number 3. Or I think you all have obviously there's Amari Cooper. Then is it Gallup or
Gallup? Nah, Gallup. Yeah, I heard that too. Gallup. We do have Gallup, but he's not consistent. He's not consistent. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. He needs to go catch some bricks or something. I'll do something. Roughen up those hands a little bit. You know what I mean? Like Jerry Rice used to do, catching bricks with his dad. But I think he's another soft receiver. We have some great receivers. But I think Dez Bryant is really going to toughen them guys up, man, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited. And it's sad we don't have no sports or nothing. Can't even watch golf right now. You know what I mean? I don't even watch golf, but I would watch golf if that was the only sport on television. But the Cowboys, man, they looking good. They just picked up Alden Smith. That's another guy who I think this is his 4th chance. Like, come on, man. Come on, black man. Y'all really got to step up to the plate and quit doing just silly shit, man. You're making all this money, man.
Greg Hardy situation. So I'm hoping. I mean, because with the Greg Hardy one, it didn't work out. But I'm hoping that's not the same case in this situation.
Right.
But yeah, nah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the Cowboys. So I mean, there's a lot of things with the Cowboys. So no, I do agree they should bring Dez back. I think he said he was playing the slot, which I think he can play, because I think one of the issues was that he wasn't able to get a lot of separation when he was. But I mean, I really didn't see that too much of an issue, because, you know, when he was playing with Tony Romo, he's a jump ball person. You know, he doesn't need separation. Just throw it up in the air.
Exactly.
So I think at minimum he can serve in the red zone. So put him in a slot. You can get some catches there. And in the red zone, it's money time. But who knows how he's going to be after the Achilles. But I still think he should still 85% of Dez jumping up in the red zone is going to be huge for y'all. But even with Amari, I don't think – I don't want to say I don't think he should have gotten paid $100 million, but I don't think y'all had a choice, because we saw what Dak was before him, and then after, it's kind of like, listen, y'all can let him walk. And the Eagles are like, listen, if y'all want him, we can get him. What's happening? And so it's like, you can let him go to your rivals, let him go over there, and then you can also see Dak's numbers kind of dropping. So it was one of those things where it was kind of like they're between a hard and a rock place. I could have thought y'all going to the Super Bowl last year, but, you know, so the issue with the Cowboys has never been talent. Like, y'all have always had talent. It's always been, you know, sort of the coaching in a way, but I'm not sure if this year might be the year, because of the fact that, I mean, this year kind of has to be the year, because you all put so much money into everything. But I think one of my issues, yeah, I know, right? But one of my issues with everything is that, you know, looking with Amari Cooper, to your point, like, he kind of disappears in big games, man. Like, I'm like, you know, he's good, but he's not consistent. And I'm like, if that's your number one receiver, you know what happens in the big game? You know, when Ezekiel Elliott, you know, when they have 8 people in a box, and they're like, I got to throw it. What's happening? It's one-on-one everywhere.
Exactly. And I think that's where Dez Bryant come in. You know, another thing too, I was really upset when they got rid of Cole Beasley.
I don't know why.
Man, killed me, man. And, you know, the season before he left, the season that he left, after he left, it's like Jason Garrett didn't even use that guy the way he should, man. Like, the dude he's little, he's fast in the slot. Like, my God. And then who did we get? We got Randall Cobb, right? They let Randall Cobb walk. Like, come on, man. I know you can't play everybody, but, I mean, did you do enough to try to keep him there?
No, he would not. He would have stayed. He wasn't expensive. They just didn't think he was useful for whatever reason. I don't know why, but yeah.
And it's like, did you see this guy? Were you looking at him? Like, Randall Cobb did his job to the best of his ability, right? I mean, for one, they need to fix that line. Definitely need to fix the offensive line. And I really hope in the next couple of weeks, if they do something, I start seeing more on the offensive line. I know we picked up 2 people, but is that enough? Yeah.
And then who retired? Somebody retired on the offensive line, right? Was he?
Yeah, young guy retired. Yep. He was 27 years old, 27 or 20, one of them. He was 20. Yeah. He retired. Yeah. And he was a Pro Bowler, a five-time Pro Bowler. But I mean, you know, this is a dangerous sport, man. You know, it's a dangerous sport, and it's good to see somebody know when it's quits. You know what I mean? Because I mean, you don't want to be walking around in your 50s all beat up. You know, we're starting to see CTE and how that affects mental illness. I mean, sports.
I'm not sure. I can't remember offhand, but I think he had an autoimmune disease for him, or he had some type of disease. But I might be wrong. I might be thinking about another player, and that's why
you might be right. Now you might be right. Regardless, he was concerned about his health, and that's good to see somebody walk away from something that they love.
Definitely. I mean, look at Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck said, listen, I made enough money. I'm out, y'all.
Man, I know, right? That really came out of left field. They wasn't prepared for that. It's like, did y'all talk about this in off season, or it just seemed like he just came into the office one day and just said he retired?
Yeah, no, I think that's what it was. I think it was just a few weeks. Like, I think what it was for him, because he was healing up, but he wasn't healing up at the rate he thought he was, and he was kind of in this cycle of, I heal up, I get injured, I heal up, and he was just like, listen, I'm not going to be – and, you know, when you're a great player or you're great at anything, you know the level you're supposed to be at, so you don't want to come in there and kind of cheat the team and just start taking money from them. You know, it's hard.
Right.
You know, so
right.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's kind of interesting to it as well too, because I know me and you kind of agree. We don't agree about a lot of things with the. I think although we do agree, you know, we just kind of play it for in a way. But I think me and you kind of agree.
But you're I mean, you're still a Patriots fan, right?
Yeah.
Let's get that on record. You still a Patriots fan?
I'm still a Patriots fan, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm still going for Tom Brady, though. I still want him to be successful, though, you know. So
look at him, y'all. He's making a move over slowly.
I'm still a Patriots fan, but I'm a Tom Brady fan, too, you know. So, yeah.
Tony Romo was a good quarterback. I think they should have held off on Dak just a little bit.
Yeah, I agree.
They should have put him in that a year or two. Yeah, he should have trained up under Dak. But I understand too. You know, if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? But y'all still should have just shipped Tony Romo off like that.
Well, I mean, for me, it kind of showed me kind of like, I guess, the way people were perceived, because one of the things about football is kind of hard is that it's sometimes such a small sample size. So when you're going with momentum, you just kind of keep going with it. But also, it kind of reminds me kind of like, so for example, I remember two things in the last few years this happened as well. So with Peyton Manning, I remember when I think either you had Brock Osweiler or some of these other players, they stepped in from him and they were still winning games. But they're like, yo, you know, when Peyton Manning comes, he's going to step in and we're going to go through the playoffs with him. Same thing happened with Drew Brees. They won 5 games in a row. But it was never a question as to when Drew Brees comes back, you know, that. But with Tony Romo, because he wasn't perceived, some people understood he was an elite quarterback, which I thought he was. I think after the 7th or 9th year, he really started to get it, in my opinion. So because he wasn't perceived that way, didn't have that respect, they didn't kind of give him back the reins when they should have, because his only issue was injury. So I was like, listen, he's in the playoffs now. Y'all finally got what you always wanted. Get him healthy. He's in the playoffs. Let's make that Super Bowl run, because never in the history of football has a rookie quarterback taking a team to the Super Bowl. So, and it was kind of weird. It was kind of interesting, like how like the everything, like how the standards kind of changed, because they got to y'all got to the playoffs and they all lost, and it was like, okay, well, how do we got Dak? But I was like, no, but the goal was to win a Super Bowl this year. It wasn't about the improvement of Dak. You know, so and I felt like y'all kind of let that Super Bowl window it's still there, but that particular team, I think, had a chance to do something really special. I thought y'all would have still lost against the Patriots, but I thought y'all would have gotten there and then lost. You know, but it would have been interesting.
Right. Cowboys do some weird stuff, man. Like, you know, like they kept Lee, the linebacker Lee. Like, why did y'all? Like, man, let that man go, man.
I don't blame him. I don't blame that. He's a leader. That locker room presence.
I mean, shit. I mean, god dang. I mean, he leaves the bench. I mean, he played 1 or 2 games and be out for the rest of the season. If you just want to throw money at him, I mean, waste money. I mean, you could have did that elsewhere on the offensive line, not with no Sean Lee. I mean, if he's not a body on the field or a body that's gonna stay on the field, and I'm sorry, he was a great linebacker when he's healthy, but you only gonna get 2 or 3 games out of Sean Lee. He's gonna have one big game, and then you won't see him that next week because he's injured. He hurt his leg or he hurt his pinky or something. Like, come on, man, let that old man go, man. They should have let him walk. But Dak Prescott, I feel like it's a 2-way street. Dak Prescott, hell of a quarterback, but he don't deserve no $40 million.
We do agree on stuff. Go ahead. We do agree.
No, he don't deserve that. No, he deserves to be paid. Yeah. But you cannot compare yourself to Drew Brees. You can't compare yourself to any of them guys in the top 10. You are not a top 10 quarterback, okay? Because if I'm paying you that type of money, that means I could put my whole team on your back and you're going to go win it. You're not going to do that. You're incapable of doing it right now. You're just not ready. And it takes time to get to that point. Now, Mahomes will get paid. He should get paid. That boy showed out, man. Yeah. Mahomes showed out. But Dak Prescott, you're not there right now. You know what I mean? For you to turn down $33 million, $33.5 million when you ain't did nothing, that just tell me the type of person you is. You believe that you the team. You know what I mean? And there's no I in team. You're going to do everything you can to make sure that your team has everything they need to be successful. Now, I'm not saying that you undercut yourself, but I'm also, you don't be disrespectful neither to Jerry World. You know what I mean? Like you don't do that. You don't do that to Jerry. You know what I mean? 30. You turned down 33, man. Who the hell is you? You ain't did nothing, man.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I mean, with Dak, my whole issue with him is that, I think like I said, pay him, but I mean, the 2 reasons why I don't think he should be the highest paid is not just because I don't view him there, but even if I did view him there, I'm like, look, bro, like, he was struggling before Amari got there. And all these other pieces, and you even struggled last year when you had these pieces. So what's going to happen when they pay you the money you're looking for, which is probably, I don't know, maybe like 37 or more, who knows, whatever, and you don't have these pieces around you, you're going to struggle. If you're struggling now with the pieces, what are you going to do without them? Like, just make sense. And for me, the difference between, $4 or $5 million a year, I'm like, you're the Cowboys quarterback. If you're making $33 million or more, you're good. Like, you know, and if you get one Super Bowl as the Cowboys quarterback, I mean, like that's. I mean,
come on, like, don't be greedy, dude. Like, you ain't even want a playoff game. Stop it.
Yeah.
Please stop. You just showing just how greedy you are, man. Like, you ain't.
Well, no, wait. So I think he's won. I think 2 playoff games, right? I think is it 2 or 1? Out of 2 or?
He did win 2. Maybe 1. He won 1.
Yeah.
Because they had a bye, and then they lost the next game to Minnesota. Yeah. So it's like, come on, man.
No, but to your point, last year was telling to me because I was like, you had arguably the most talented team, if not the most talented, top 5 at worst, most talented on offense at least, team, and your defense is alright, they're decent.
Oh, they were number 1 in offensive yards.
Yeah, I didn't understand
how you only won 8 games.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But we do know. I mean, Jason Garrett, man, like he.
I can't blame all of that.
Man, like, well, I mean, a lot of bad things happen, right? The field goal kicker missing field goals, like, come on, man, this is not you, man. Like, but I think it all comes down to the leader, though. You know what I mean? They just wasn't following him no more. You know what I mean? They didn't believe in his speeches in the locker room, and I think that really affected everybody. Even the kicker when just doing simple kicks. So much pressure on him. You know what I mean? Because he knows it's going to be a harder time for his because the defense was horrible. Let's be honest. But even so, the offense, I mean, they weren't consistent. It was because of the play calling, just some of the calls that they did. And they kept him too, man. What's that boy name, man? Who was the offensive coordinator? Young fella, man.
You talking about the backup quarterback before? I forgot his name.
Yes. Moore. Yeah, Moore.
Yeah,
I don't even feel they should have. Yeah, I don't even feel he did some great things, but nah.
They didn't have it. No, I see. I know what you're trying to. They shouldn't have kept him. They didn't have a choice because because what they're trying to do is that Mike McCarthy's going to install his system, obviously, but you kind of have to have kind of like the old play caller there, just so that way you can kind of like match up the verbiage, and then if he's good, he'll stay after that first year. But if not, then they'll get rid of him. But you kind of have to have that bridge, or else you're installing a whole new playbook, everything, which they are going to be doing, but it's new verbiage for everybody. Like it's a lot to kind of come in a way. But I agree with a lot of the points you're making. I mean, I think with Dak, my issue with him once again is that, because I do think last year, the 88, it does have a lot to do with Jason Garrett. But when I'm looking at Dak, I'm like, a lot of those games in the end, that was you, bro. Like you could have won those games. You just had a missed a throw, just didn't read the defense right, did something like, and now you're asking for us to reward you for that, like, because my thing is that even if you made the playoffs and won a game, I'd have been like, but you didn't even make the playoffs. Look at what Carson Wentz did.
Right.
I was like,
well, I mean, let's give Dak. I mean, he did have 5,000-yard season though. He can throw the ball. He can. He can be accurate at times.
Yeah, but I don't mean nothing if it don't come with wins for me personally. I mean, I get it.
No, I understand. It don't come with no $37 million price tag. So I agree. I definitely agree. Yeah, if we can't put the team on your back in the fourth quarter,
right,
then don't sit up here and ask for it to be the highest paid. Because Tom Brady could put the team on his back. Peyton Manning could put the team on his back. Hell, Tony Romo could put the team on his back. We saw him do it. These guys, Drew Brees, like, come on, you're not even in that category yet. Maybe at some point in the future you will be, but right now, don't be disrespectful. Please take several seats in the back.
So just to be fair, we're giving both negatives, kind of. So I know the argument on the other side is that the reason why Dak is asking for that much is because, with the new CBA, the money is going to, the cap is going to increase. And also, most players feel the obligation to at least pay it forward. Since you're the next man up, get that money so that way your agent doesn't come. So that way, when the next quarterback is coming in, they can get paid too as well, right? And then his agent also has pressure on him because if he doesn't get a favorable contract, $33 million from now might seem like what $28 million is now. They'd be like, "What? You got that contract with the new CBA coming in?" So to be fair, I guess he has that narrative. So I guess to that you say what in terms of
but see, I don't like that. I don't think you should just be able after your rookie contract to determine, well, quarterbacks are making, $60 million now. I deserve that, but you play for a shit team, and you've been 3-9 the last 6 seasons. Like, you don't deserve that money. You know what I mean? I don't care how bad your team is. You still should be able to show the team that you could do something and not just demand money based off the position you're in. It don't work like that. Well, at least old football didn't work like that. I don't know what this new stuff is. I don't like it. You know what I mean? You got to earn it, man. You got to earn it with blood, sweat, and tears, man. You're making millions of dollars, man. Damn, man, 33.5 to turn that down. That's a lot of money. But and then, you have to understand.
I'm like in the state of Texas, you're not even paying income tax. I'm like,
right. And then in addition to that, he's really brave though because he's dealing with a snake. Jerry Jones is a snake.
Why you for that?
I mean, we've seen him in the past. He don't want to pay nobody. For instance, Murray. Murray did his job, but he turned down numerous contracts. I don't want to say disrespectful, but it wasn't disrespectful. Murray did what he wanted to do, but even just putting your feet in that water and telling Jerry, like, nah, this is ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like, he let Murray go. Like, how you know that next year you're not going to have a job? You know what I mean? Maybe somebody's going to pick you up, but you ain't going to be playing for the Cowboys talking crazy like that. You know what I mean? When you haven't really done anything.
I do the Murray situation, the running that was a mistake on the Cowboys' part. But for the most part, Jerry does have a reputation at least. I might be wrong, but at least taking care of his people, paying people and stuff like that. So I don't think, and even for me, I don't think Jerry's necessarily even worried about paying him. Like, Jerry's not worried. Like, Jerry said if it was $1 billion and you guarantee me I can win the Super Bowl, he would do it. I think it's just, dealing with the reality of the cap. Like, bro, I can't pay you that much. Like, even if you were Mahomes, I'll still be like, yeah, like, because, I'll still be like, yeah, you deserve that money, but do you want to win championships or you want to make money? Like, you can do both, but I'm saying it's just a difference of $3 million, in a way. So, because, even when we look at the history, Russell Wilson, all those other players, they got paid, but I think every player who gets paid after that pretty much hasn't gone to a Super Bowl because the talent around you kind of depreciates. And Dak's prophecy showed that even with the talent hasn't appreciated, you can't do that. So, but I guess I was also asking about with the new CBA as well. I know with the new playoff system, I think they're gonna have 7 teams make the playoff now on each side, and then with one team having a bye. What are your thoughts on that as well?
I think they should just leave it alone. I mean, it's working out fine, but I guess that would also give. I don't think they should touch that. How many teams are going to the playoffs from each side now?
So before originally it used to be 6 teams on each side, but now it's already been voted in, so it's going to happen. So now it's going to be, I know, right? It's going to be 7 teams going on each side, and it's going to 17 games. So 17 games, 7 teams going to the playoffs on each side, and you have only one team gets a bye. So only one number 1 seed, no number 2 seed.
I guess we could be for sure that Dallas would be in the playoffs each year.
We'll see. That's true. According to last year, I don't think Dallas would have made it, even because I think that the Rams would have made it last year. That's the irony of the situation. The Rams would have made it.
I know.
No, go ahead.
See, I don't know too much on the CBA to talk about it. I haven't been up in it as much, but I think it was fine the way it was, man. I could take an extra game, though. I like the extra game.
I actually think they should include more buys for just players in the season in general, just for them to get some more rest. Because them banging bodies 17 games, I'm like, okay. But I think the other issue I have is that because for me, I wouldn't mind the Rams going in this year, but on the AFC side, I think the Steelers would have won at 8-8. And I think what's actually going to happen is that it's going to make it a little bit less competitive because now you're going to have teams who can just go 8-8 and get into the playoffs and then sneak in. Because nobody wants to see an 8-8 team win the Super Bowl unless they really deserved it, right?
Right.
So that's kind of what I'm kind of afraid is going to get kind of watered down. The NBA kind of has this problem a little bit, I think, on the Eastern Conference, a little bit, where you just have teams who are below a certain level getting in because it's 8 teams going to go in. Like half of the teams make the playoffs. And football, I think, is going towards that. And I think their thing is going to make things more competitive because now you only have one team that gets a bye. But I think what's actually going to happen is that if I were a team and I knew I wasn't going to get the bye, and I'm already in the playoffs, and there's nothing else, and I can't get the number 2 seed, I'm just going to rest my players on a 16 and 17 game anyway. There's no point in me playing. So that's what I'm kind of afraid of with the whole thing. But I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, I hope it don't come down to, because it's like, people pay their money to see people play, and I don't want to go to a game that I didn't travel to and you got Ezekiel Elliott sitting on the bench. That's not fitting me, or even like, you see the basketball players doing this, like you see Kawhi doing it a lot now.
Yeah.
Sitting out and resting. It's like, what the hell are you resting for? You only played 12 games out the season. What are you doing?
Hey,
like. So, yeah.
Also true. No, man. But I appreciate your thoughts and everything. I don't want to hold you up too much. I know you got your family to get back to and everything. So, but
okay.
Is there any last minute things you want to say, things of that sort?
No, man. I appreciate you reaching out. I appreciate you, just being an all around great person, because you're a great guy, Solomon, for real. You really are. You're a solid dude. And keep carrying that heart on your shoulders, man, and continue to do what you're doing. I appreciate it, man.
Definitely, I appreciate you as well. I want to see some of the great things you're going to do out there. I mean, you and Bree, like, you all just inspire me. So, I mean, hopefully when I have my kids, I have your kids babysitting them. So, get some free days.
There you go, right?